This is SoulCharge, the podcast for women leaders to take the highest level of ownership of their power to create results now. I'm your host, Stacy B. Let's dive in. Being all of you, making powerful decisions, being relentless in your ownership, and taking exponential action is the magic. Manifestation is not. Let's dive in. I am really looking forward to this episode with you today because this topic is something that I have personally experienced. I know many of you have also personally experienced. And also, there are so many people out there leading the manifestation movement. And I want to take a different perspective on the conversation and really dive deeply into the difference between you as the creator being that you are, as the powerhouse that you are, when you take ownership of every single thing. And we're going to deep dive into just how nuanced taking ownership is for you, but who you are being in that power, in when you are in your full and radical ownership, really what happens with manifestation and how it shows up. And so manifestation is something that I think can be misinterpreted and also underused when you're looking at it from a surface level perspective. As leaders, I think that you all are very practical and strategic, and maybe some of you aren't necessarily leaning into how much magic is supporting you and able to support you as you create the businesses that you're meant to create. But also, there may be some of you that's listening today that are leaning too much into manifestation, leaning too much into the signs and the angel numbers and all of the things, thus giving your power away to manifestation instead of making it work for you. Because here's the thing, what I want you to get from this episode today is that manifestation is not outside of you. You are the manifestation. And when you start to move through the world in this power and you start to take ownership of the fact that you can create on demand, you start to play a different game. I think that manifestation to the naked eye, so to speak, is a tool that can help you get, in the basic realm, help you create things. But I don't know about you, but in my journey, when I started using manifestation and started diving into manifestation, for me, what I experienced was really unexpected from the standpoint of there was a part of me looking back, and this is what I want you to hone in on for you, is there was a part of me that was looking at manifestation as something to do. I was manifesting the thing versus seeing the bigger picture. And that's what I want to pierce today with you, is that this is about the bigger picture. But when you start to own that manifestation is not a thing to do, but it's actually a game of who you're being. And I think that both topics of who we're being and manifestation can become sort of like elusive, right? And it's like theoretically manifesting, it's like out there, right? It doesn't feel in here. And that's my other intention for this episode today, is that we bring this in your body so that we're not just talking about manifestation or doing a manifestation, but that you can see a consistent way to create. There is a difference in my mind between manifestation and creation. The key difference is manifestation is assuming that you have to manifest versus creation comes from you. Manifestation is still out there. Someone's doing something for you. The universe is having your back. The universe is creating this versus you are the universe. You are it all. You are the beginning and the end and the middle. And when you start to live your life with that type of ownership, decisions are easier, ownership is easier, and creating results is way easier and faster because you're not of this mindset that something has to be done nor are you of the mindset that it's outside of you. And those two things really can make manifestation a little more complicated when you are moving through the world as if you're going to manifest something versus when you're in your body and you're owning yourself and you're owning your decisions and you're clear as glass on what you're doing and what you've decided and what it looks like. That is the manifestation, and that's the collapse of these two worlds I want to make for you today is discerning between being the creator of everything in your life. I'm talking everything, every external situation that you don't like, every relationship that you love or don't love, every result you're getting or not getting is all up to you. So, in my personal life, when I started my journey, I tell the story a lot where I was 19. I was just starting my real estate career, my real estate company, and I would watch The Secret, if you're familiar with that movie. I would watch that movie every single day, and I did it for like 6 to 8 months. Every day religiously, I would watch that movie because I didn't come from parents that talked a lot about like manifestation or you create your own reality. I very much came from a mom that said, you can if you set your mind to it, you can do it. Like you can do anything you set your mind to. So there was very much that positive environment, but not necessarily the equation part of it, if you will, where it was like to create something, you do XYZ, right? And The Secret helped me understand and have real life experiences of that. But what it also did was created an obsession around manifesting, around calling things in, and around vision boards and outcomes that led me to being super attached to focusing on what I want, and it expands. And what that did was drew me further away from myself because I wasn't closing the gap within myself to understand that it wasn't about the vision board. It wasn't about the manifestation. In fact, the more attention that I put on manifesting the thing, the further away the thing would get. And also, the more attention that I would put on manifesting the thing, the more it felt like outside of myself. And manifestation, I think, became something for me to do. It became another way that I would chase, another way that I would incessantly set goals, and also was a way that made it so there wasn't ever satisfaction. Now, in a lot of manifestation conversations, they very well communicate, the importance of gratitude. And I think that we need to bring it back to the 0 point or the beginning, which is there is a difference between thinking you have to manifest something and that you are whole and complete, and you simply just need to be clear in what you want. So that's the starting point. The thing that happened for me with manifestation was I was skipping a key step in the process, which made it so I would rely more heavily on the manifestation versus owning the fact that I was the source. I was the one that was creating, and my feelings and my vibration and my energy wasn't necessarily as important as what I was manifesting was. And so manifestation can quickly become, again, another thing to do. And what I experienced was almost intermittent manifestation. And what I mean by that is that I would manifest what I wanted, but then it would feel like I would go back to the drawing board. I would manifest what I wanted, and then I would go back to the drawing board instead of this incremental or exponential experience of manifesting something and continuing to build on that. And so over time, I think that that's what happens for a lot of us is that we're focused on manifesting the thing, but what we're losing in the process of focusing on the manifestation is our decision and ownership. So let's talk about that for a moment. I see this so much with our clients. They think that they're making a decision, but they're not fully behind their decision. And so everything has energy. And if we're talking about you being the magic, which you are, and that manifestation is not the secret sauce, but you are the secret sauce. If you are moving through the world and making decisions that you're not fully behind, that energy is not able to be supported. Think about it for a moment. If you make a decision and you're not all in on it, there's a part of you that hesitates or that doubts or in some way is second guessing the decision. Your energy is not rooted in the decision, and that is affecting your ability to create. Similarly, if you are wanting to manifest something and you're not necessarily rooted in the decision, you see how the decision, whether you're into manifestation and that's your path, or if you're on the bandwagon of I am the creator, I'm the manifestation, I'm every tool or tapping or modality that's out there, I am the source of it all. That also requires a decision. So no matter what stance you take, what I'm telling you today is that for you to fully activate your ability to be the magic, which is your birthright, that is what you have been designed to do in God's image, in Source's image, is to be all of yourself, to be the hands and feet and the extension, which means deciding powerfully, which means taking ownership powerfully of how things are going in your life, of course correcting in real time, of making moves when you can't see how things are going to unfold, and then taking action in the future self, in your future state before you see the results. All of that is necessary for the results or manifestations to occur. So I think the discernment or the piece that I want you to get here is that manifestation, manifesting things, is you creating things. I've seen clients do this, and I did this way back when. It was almost like when I would manifest something, it was a surprise. It was as if manifestation was once in a while. Manifestation, in other words, your creation manifesting itself in the external world, is supposed to be the norm. So we have it flip-flopped. And I do believe it's because there's a part of us that's giving our power away to the magic of manifesting versus taking radical ownership on the fact that you are the creator. You're the one that manifests or doesn't, and you do it on a daily basis, and you have free will, and you can create on demand. The moment that you start taking ownership of this, the moment your life changes, the moment that you decide that you are that powerful, that you are that creative, that you are able and willing and free to create the results that you want now, you take your power back from these modalities that are what life is supposed to be like. Manifestation is not some destination. It's the way we are supposed to create. And I feel like in the marketplace, it's become this sort of ideal that we're pursuing. But actually, if you would just pursue yourself, if you would just deep dive into your identity and to your energy and how you're feeling and invest in learning about your vibration and invest in learning about how to shift your identity and shift yourself, that combined with that ownership and the decision of who you're going to be in advance is what I think manifestation can mask a lot of times. So I'm very interested in going to the root on topics. I'm very interested in how can we simplify these topics that may seem complex or topics that may seem theoretical. How can we bring the theory into a concrete conversation? And that's what we're doing here today on this episode, right? Is looking at a topic like manifestation. And of course, all of us as leaders, especially as people that are so committed to results and creating massive results, is if you could take your results and sprinkle in some manifestation and speed up the process, why wouldn't you? And so learning about the source of manifestation, which is you. You are the driver. Your manifestations or your results in life, when I speak of manifestation and results, they're the same thing in this context, right? Is your manifestations in life truly our reflection point of how aligned you are? Your manifestations or your results, whichever word you relate to most, are truly reflective of your alignment. If you are being true to you, if you are in your body, if you are clear on what you want to create and you are decided and you know what you stand for, literally, there is no such thing as time. Time is an illusion. There is no such thing. You literally can call the shots. You literally can call the shots when you start to understand what these levers are that are in your control and your ability to impact. And so my goal for you is to start looking at this life, looking at yourself, and looking at manifestation or the results that you want to create, and looking at them first from a reflection on yourself and then a reflection on your results. Because to the extent that you are clear what your vibration is, what your energy is, and how you're feeling, then you can truly supercharge your results and get whatever it is that you want. My life is living proof of that. From a random hair to do a 11 home subdivision and development and pulling all of the resources, builder, finance, agent, all of that together and doing that myself, to starting my first career when I was 19, to the first car, the first house. I mean, like, my entire life is a testimony to what I'm talking about today, which is this obsession to optimize and be so precise in my energy and in my thoughts and in how I'm feeling, and ensure that I am aligned with what I'm doing and putting out in the world and the results that I'm getting. And every single time, if there is a delay, if something doesn't happen instantaneously, I can get myself back to something being off at the root. Something is off in the way I'm looking at this and the decisions I'm making. Something is off in my energy. Something is off in the way in which I'm thinking about this or I'm feeling about it. And there's likely something off about who I'm being about it. I'm not in the identity of the person that has what I want. I am still feeling like it's not enough, or I'm beating myself up about something, or I'm not being obsessive with my thoughts, and my thoughts are letting some doubt sneak in or letting some hesitation sneak in. And these things seem so small, but they compound. They compound, my friend. And that's the thing that we need to take more seriously. If you want the luxury, because I do believe it is an opportunity or luxury to be able to create whatever the fuck you want. That is an opportunity to attune to that reality. Not everyone in their lifetime gets to listen to a podcast like this and gets to put this together in a way where you could listen to this podcast and go and create results that you want. That is an opportunity or a luxury to be able to do that. And to have that luxury, there are things that you have to be mindful of: your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your language. Language is such a huge one. How often we're talking, I was just talking to someone before I started the pod today that's like, oh, this is going to take a while. I just want to make sure you're aware of like all of the potential road bumps that could happen. And it's like, why are we talking about potential road bumps when we could instead craft exactly how we want it to go? This is not pie in the sky thinking. This is not anything that's like Pollyanna. This is really how life can work. You have the ability to stop talking about what the problem is and start investing your whole heart into creating what it is that you want. The SoulCharge Liberation event is designed to do just that. It is designed to liberate you from what is keeping you stuck, to free your energy so that you can be free once and for all, so that you can be free for good and leave with practical tips and strategies to harness the energy that you liberate through our event and go and make results immediately. The women that attend our liberation event come in for goals. They come in to learn how they can start ascending their next level, and they leave changed. They leave inspired, they leave clear, and they leave with clear next steps on what is next. And a lot of times it's unexpected. A lot of times with the liberation event, you think you're coming for one thing and you leave actually getting to the root of what's been going on all along. In just 2 hours, we clear what is in the way. We help you get clarity and how to create a path forward to elevate your life and business. So join us. You will not be sorry that you attend the liberation event, because it is the first step on your journey to free yourself, to swing for the fences on your vision, to free yourself from the binds and shackles that are keeping you stuck. It's to free yourself to create anything that you want, because that's the truth. You can create anything, and it's time to start now. So to close on this episode and really make these topics concrete, first and foremost, you are the driver. You are the magic, not the manifestation, not the EFT tapping, not whatever modality you're into right now. You're the magic. Okay? I really want you to hear that. From that place, I want you to do an audit. Are you speaking about problems or solutions? Where are your thoughts at? Are you always thinking about the possibility? Are you thinking about all that could happen? Are you feeling how it feels with this thing done? Are you really getting into your body in celebration of how it feels in advance of it happening? Do you feel the expansiveness? Do you feel the energy? Do you really feel in your body the delight of this thing coming true? Audit these things. And I promise you, try it for 7 days. Try it on for 7 days from this day forward. For the next 7 days, commit to only talking about what you want to happen. When you get off track, correct in real time. Talk about what you want. Think about what you want. Feel about what you want. And in those feelings, notice the emotion and notice how you create a field around you. I often, within the team, I call SoulCharge is our force field, right? And we say that, like, once you're in a mile radius of us, you start to experience the transformation. And it's true. You emit energy by how you feel. And it's time to get serious about this, because you have the opportunity to play a bigger game, to play a bigger life, to create anything you want. And it starts with you owning the fact that you are the magic, and these are the ingredients to activate that. Are you loving SoulCharge? If so, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share an episode. We want to bring powerful content to women leaders each week so that women can be unleashed to create the results that they want now. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.